highest price for your home. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated. First off, our 1.9% commission structure helps get their foot in the door, and that's why agents like working here. But what they really like is having the strongest marketing tools available, with the resources to help them sell homes at the highest prices to satisfy their clients. Century 21 Benefit Realty offers what agents like most, and that's to help them be successful. If you really want to believe in the business model that you're representing, give me a call. I'm Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty. Call me, and let's talk about your future. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Hey, it's Jason Wilde for Excel Custom Decks. I at least like to think I'm an expert when it comes to football, but I know Excel are truly experts when it comes to the art of deck building. With the finest materials and products combined with their superior craftsmanship, they'll deliver exceptional quality and value on everything from backyard decks to pergolas and outdoor kitchens. If you can dream it, Rob and his family can build it. Family-owned Excel Custom Decks delivers decking excellence by design. Visit excelcustomdecks.com to learn more.
If better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today. You can find Active Liver in stores at your local CVS or online at Amazon or newnordicusa.com.
The place you want to go, Lynch McWanago.
Nobody sells for less than Lynch.
Trusted, relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
At 10:01, it's 6 below. Wind chill even worse than that as we deal with our WTMJ Fleet Farm Storm Team Alert. An extreme cold warning in effect until noon. Wind chills at times dipping down to 30 to 35 below. Very cold today. Tonight, increasing clouds. Slow warming up, a low of 0, but warming to a low of 6 tonight with wind chills of 20 below. So the cool weather will remain. Our bone-chilling temps. Storm Team 4 meteorologist Tyler Moore.
Today, very cold, but very sunny. High temperatures will try to get on the positive side of 0. I think most of us hit 1, 2 degrees at best for today.
And again, tomorrow it should be a little bit warmer. School expected to be back in session for most tomorrow. And, of course, a little bit of snow, an inch of snow in the forecast for tomorrow. Speaking of the snow, millions of people across the South dealing with a rare winter storm that's dropping snow, sleet, ice, rain, the bitter cold stretching from Texas to the Carolinas. CBS reporter Katie Weiss is in New Orleans.
It is definitely something different. As someone who is from this region, it's pretty impressive. But certainly, this is something that we've been seeing all morning long, all of this snow coming down here in New Orleans. And I know that it's not going to let up. We're expected to see quite significant snowfall accumulation. About 2,000 flights were canceled because of the weather. Another 10,000 flights delayed at least. In Washington, National Prayer Service beginning at the National Cathedral. President Trump going to attend that prayer service. Meanwhile, then later today, the president expected to meet with some key Republican allies. ABC's Rachel Scott.
Today, on his first full day in office, President Donald Trump is expected to meet with the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, and also Senate Majority Leader John Thune. I'm told those meetings will be happening separately this afternoon inside the Oval Office. The president pushing his party to pass one big, massive bill that could contain everything from the border to also energy and tax policy as well.
Damage assessment continuing in Fond du Lac at Congressman Glenn Grothman's office. This after police believe a arson fire started there. Suspect admitted to police that he set the fire. He was upset about the U.S. ban on TikTok. Grothman tells NBC 26 the fire was a shock.
I can't think of any congressman who's had their office attacked for something like that, much less an attempt at arson.
Formal charges have yet to be filed. Improving their basketball skills on the courts with the Milwaukee Bucks.
That was the goal for 60 participants with Wisconsin's Special Olympics Monday night at the Freighter and Medical College of Wisconsin Sports Science Center. Special Olympics player Bobby Kuski tells WTMJ what he likes about playing basketball.
Dribbling, shooting, and just the teamwork and friendship, I'd say, are the best things.
Former Bucks player Fred Roberts was there as well to give athletes a few pointers on how to improve their skills and to have fun.
Even as an adult, if I can go shoot a couple of shots on a professional court, that's a thrill.
Sean Brinda, WTMJ News.
Time now for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, the Dow is up 332, the NASDAQ up 14, and the S&P is up 25. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time 10:04.
We know what you're thinking, and all we can tell you is to drive careful.
Yep, Wisconsin roads are no joke this time of year, especially when you're driving on old, worn-out tires.
Schedule yourself a tire appointment with Richlands. We carry all sorts of tire brands, including Goodyear, Kelly, Continental, and General, to name a few.
And every tire we install automatically comes with free tire mounting, free lifetime tire rotation, free flat tire repairs, and free alignment inspections.
Not to mention free wheel corrosion cleaning, lifetime warranty spin balance, and prorated tire protection.
Let's just say if you're driving around town, especially this time of year on old, worn-out tires, you're due for tire service.
Courtney's right. And remember, be safe, buckle up, and hey, always make sure you have good tread on your tires, because cold, wet, icy roads are no joke. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, and you're due for service.
Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Before you go looking for an area rug that you'll have to settle for because you think that the one you really want will be out of your budget, come to Design Exchange, where you'll find a formidable selection of Oriental, Persian, and other wool area rug choices at 25 to 70% off retail. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor on consignment at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
If you're trying to find really good, high-end, distinctive furniture, the kind they just don't make anymore, then come to Design Exchange. But you better get here quickly, because the best furniture we take in on consignment doesn't usually last long. It may be vintage, it may have once been out of your range, but now you'll find it's priced right. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value.
Design Exchange.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all sports desk. Ohio State, the Buckeyes are college football national champions after beating Notre Dame. ESPN reporting that Marquette's expected to promote Mike Broker to athletic director. Broker has been with the school as the deputy athletic director for nearly 20 years. Marquette basketball plays Seton Hall tonight on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee. Wisconsin takes on UCLA. Badgers sports updates are sponsored by Siding Unlimited. It's siding and a whole lot more. WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Lots of disabled vehicles, but no major issues as far as delays on the roadways. 94 eastbound, Highway 16 all the way in. You're looking good on time. 4145 South, Highway Q to the zoo, is also delay-free. Then 43 southbound, no problem, Brown Deer Road into downtown. Let's take a look at your forecast. WTMJ Fleet Farm Storm Team Alert. An extreme cold warning runs until noon today. That's because of these wind chills that could dip down to 35 below. Forecast says frostbite could set in a little as 10 minutes on a day like today. So very cold, a high of 3. Again, those sub-zero wind chills. Tonight, more clouds. Is slow warming up, breezy. The low is 0. It could warm up to 6 degrees overnight. Wind chill still down to 20 below. Now for your Wednesday, some scattered snow, maybe an inch. Breezy and a little bit warmer, high of 24. Thursday, sunny, a slight cool down and a high of 21. Right now, 9 below. I'm Eric Bilstead, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:08.
We like to do things by the numbers. We're all about commerce and community. Welcome to the Upswing, presented by Horicon Bank, the natural choice for all your banking needs. Now for the host that's always on the upswing, Jeff Sherman.
Now, to business, gentlemen.
Good morning, Wisconsin. Good morning, Milwaukee. Happy Tuesday. We're staying warm and cozy this morning. It's the first full day of Trump 2.0, so we are going to continue where we left off yesterday, an analysis of the first 100 days. Actually, as Bill McCashin, regular guest on the Political Power Hour, said on his X account yesterday, kind of seems like the first 100 days is going to be condensed into the first 100 hours, right? Fast and furious with executive orders and more. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. You know, some of these executive orders truly, truly matter. Every president does it. Some of the executive orders have more impact than the others, but we're going to do our best to make sense of it all and look back a little bit, as we often have to look back to see where we're going to go in the future. Mordecai Lee, professor emeritus at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee, will join us later in this show. From a community and commerce standpoint, that's what we do on the Upswing. We have to keep seeking clarity on tariffs. So after the next break, we're going to look at tariffs. And you may say, all right, come on. You're talking about tariffs again. You did this yesterday. Well, hey, remember after the election, I went to Google Trends the day after, as I do every morning, just to kind of get a sense of what people are talking about and searching for. The number one Google trend the day after the election was, what is a tariff? So there's still a lot of questions around tariffs and their impact and what will happen to our prices. We have a local tariff expert from the OAC group later in the show. Speaking of prices, let's just do a quick price check. Day one of Trump 2.0. Mark these down. Actually, these are prices from the final day of the Biden administration. Prices, price index. The Dow Jones, the last day of the Biden administration, was at $43,487. The unemployment rate, again, mark these down, 4.1%. Federal interest rate was at 4.33%. Gas nationally, the last day of the Biden administration, $3.12 a gallon. I'm going to check some tech prices, too. MacBook Air, laptop, the 13-inch with the M2 chip, $999.99. PlayStation 5.0, the Pro Console, $699.99. Right here at Sendix, just let's level set on prices. Right here at Sendix, the red bag Sendix, six-pack of Miller Lite, sitting at $7.49. If you want to get a six-pack of that Athletic Brewing Company Free Wave Hazy IPA, I really enjoy it, $10.99. Mark that down. We'll continue to look at prices periodically throughout this new administration. But as we do each and every morning, let's quickly go to Up.
Now it's time for the Two Up on the Upswing.
Two Up, two things in the business world that I'm seeing maybe that you have missed. The FTC is suing Pepsi, alleging price discrimination is raising costs for consumers. The FTC says the soda company was offering special deals and favoritism to one big box retailer, likely Walmart, according to industry experts. Pepsi denied the allegations and said the FTC's lawsuit is wrong, both factually and legally. The complaint, which was filed yesterday in the Southern District of New York, is currently sealed. A 12-pack of Pepsi, by the way, right now at Walmart.com is $8.48. Second up, billionaire wealth grew by $2 trillion in 2024, with an average of nearly 4 new billionaires minted every week. This is per a new Oxfam report. That's 204 new billionaires in 2024. Oxfam predicts that there'll be at least 5 trillionaires a decade from now. Oxfam published a report called Takers Not Makers yesterday as business leaders gathered at not only the inauguration, but at the Swiss resort town of Davos for the annual economic forum. Personally, I want to see more spotlights on the greater good billionaire efforts. I think there's more good than bad in people all the time, so let's focus on the good. Mackenzie Scott, George Soros, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, Melinda Gates. Got to remember the charitable efforts of those in attendance at the inauguration yesterday, too. Musk and Zuckerberg, Tim Cook, all of those people were at the inauguration yesterday. We'll keep a skeptical eye on relationships and presidential partnerships, but I like to focus on the greater good. Let's continue to speak of partnerships after the break. Tariffs are often seen as kind of this one-way partnership. maybe not helping us as the consumer. We're going to dive into the impacts, which can be far-reaching and wide. That's coming up next. This is The Upswing. You're listening to WTMJ.
Hey Bucks fans, it's Justin Garcia from the Bucks Radio Network, here to tell you about the launch of the Bucks Central podcast feed. Everything Bucks, on demand, in one spot. From sideline to sideline, hear all the ankle-breaking, rim-rattling, and twine-tingling highlights, exclusive interviews, and more. Subscribe to the Bucks Central podcast feed wherever you get your podcasts. All the Bucks content your heart desires in one spot. Check out the Bucks Central podcast feed.
Founded by inventors, fueled by community, and focused on business. This is WTMJ's Jeff Sherman speaking on behalf of my good friends at Horicon Bank. Horicon Bank, they've been doing banking differently since 1896. Your financing requests, they can be approved in days. You don't have to wait weeks because your banker understands you and your businesses. Service and products go hand in hand, providing top-notch products to meet your cash flow needs. Horicon Bank, they get the job done. Together, doing good, that's their vision, and they're committed to doing what it takes to help your business grow. Horicon Bank, truly the natural choice. Member FDIC.
Get organized with a new Dakota Closet system at Menards. Dakota Closets are versatile and can be installed in any room, from home offices and laundry rooms to walk-in or reach-in closets, and so much more. Use the You Create Closet Planner, available in-store or online, to design a Dakota Closet system that maximizes your space and matches your style. And don't forget to check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
When you work at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, you'll be helping us help others. There are many that need our help, and we need your help to carry out our mission. St. Vincent de Paul is always looking for part-time team members. You'll get competitive pay, benefits, and flexibility in scheduling. So apply online at svdpmilw.org or stop by Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, or 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Welcome back to the Upswing. I'm Jeff Sherman. Thanks for being here. James Vanderloo is the station manager and head at OEC Group in Milwaukee, a global freight forwarder and leading company in trans-Pacific trade. James, I appreciate you taking time this morning.
Hey, good morning, Jeff. It's great to be with you.
All right. So President Trump has indicated that he's going to pursue aggressive tariff policies, which, could have mixed effects on the economy, especially here in Wisconsin. I just want you to kind of level set, if you will, for us on the why and how of tariffs.
That's a really great question, and I know it's been on everyone's mind and kind of how this all goes. So, just to kind of summarize, tariffs are effectively taxes placed on, traditional importers, and they're usually used against countries that are seen as using nefarious trade practices. In this particular administration, it's being tied to other things. In the case of Mexico and Canada, to things like immigration and that, and fentanyl usage through the border. But really, what it is it's meant to make industries in the United States more competitive. But what the net result of it is typically higher prices for those consumers in terms of any kind of leveling out. Over the long term, and specifically in the short term, we definitely will see some tightening of the wallets, as it were.
Yeah, and how do you foresee the tariffs specifically kind of having an impact on the cost of goods for U.S. manufacturers?
So where it really hurts manufacturers is going to be on their inputs, and also beyond that, if we get in the case of retaliatory tariffs. That's hurting businesses in the long run. For instance, if there were companies that decided to nearshore their manufacturing, bring some of it back to maybe Mexico, Canada, versus traditionally being in China, if there's now retaliatory practices which make it more difficult to import into Mexico or to manufacture here and then export out of the different countries, we're already seeing storage charges in warehouses go up. We're seeing transportation charges go up because they need, they need to deliver things via truck where they haven't had before. So all of these little, sort of a death by 1,000 cuts where you've got all these additional costs that sort of add up to a higher cost. And then ultimately the business has to decide whether to absorb that or, in talking with a lot of businesses around here, that doesn't really present itself. They have to pass it on to the consumer in order to stay afloat.
Yeah. We were talking with James Vanderloo, station manager and head at the OEC Group here in Milwaukee. So, James, I mean, you mentioned local businesses and the clients and partners you work with. How are many of the Wisconsin businesses preparing for potential tariff increases right now?
So the best thing you can do is really just get out there, research. If you haven't done it already, look at where your raw materials are coming in from. How far are you exposed? I certainly didn't tag this line, but I like it. Instead of thinking of things as supply chains, think of them as supply webs, meaning that you're not necessarily open or privy to one specific thing. I've been talking to a lot of people that are looking at, hey, what's it like sourcing raw materials from India versus China? What's it like? How does that lifeline of a shipment work? And there are differences, and there are things that they want to consider in terms of not just the cost, but how easy is it? Where is the infrastructure currently set up? So really getting out there, doing your research, having a lot of options and plans to sort of diversify your supply chains. That's really the best thing you can do. And it's tougher on small businesses, and that's kind of where I always look to. Maybe it's a smaller business doesn't have the ability to look out there. So really meeting with people. I know a lot of people in our industry are very open to receiving calls, discussions about it. So I think that's really the best advice that I can give at the current moment, because there's just so much that we don't know.
Yeah.
And I think that uncertainty is ultimately what kind of hurts businesses.
Yeah. When we come back, I want to get your thoughts on possible impacts to traffic at the Port of Milwaukee. It's probably a little early to tell there, but what advice you would have for businesses looking to kind of restructure their supply chains in response to potential tariff changes that are coming. You're listening to The Upswing. This is WTMJ.
We get it. You're on the go, and life gets in the way. Stay up to date on all things WTMJ with podcasts of every show available on WTMJ.com. And don't forget you can stream WTMJ online and watch your favorite WTMJ shows on YouTube. Every show, when you want it, no matter where you are. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620 WTMJ.
Elevate your game day gear or any outfit with official merchandise from the Milwaukee Bucks Pro Shop. From authentic jerseys to exclusive apparel and accessories, the Bucks Pro Shop has everything you need to showcase your fandom wherever you go. Cheer the Deer to victory with authentic Milwaukee Bucks items. Visit us at the Bucks Pro Shop at Fiserv Forum or Bayshore Mall, or shop online at shop.bucks.com.
A Blaine's Farm and Fleet original story.
These are going to be the best pancakes ever.
Let's see. Griddle, mixing bowls, and birdseed.
For the world's first pancake bird feeder snowman. Ta-da!
For home-cooked breakfasts, special bird feeders, and more, we've got the value you need to do things your way. Like 50-pound bags of Blaine's Black Oil Sunflower Seed, $19.99, and KT Suet Cakes, 4 for $6. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Being original.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Elizabeth and John bought their starter home 8 years ago, BC, as in before children. Now, with 2 elementary school-age kids, they wanted to make a move to the suburbs for a bigger home with more yard. But they didn't know if or how they could buy their next home without selling their current one. Fortunately, a friend who was a multi-time AccuNet client connected them with us, and we soon determined they could, in fact, afford to buy without selling first, which was a big relief to them and their real estate agent. Armed with an AccuNet rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval, it still took several weeks to find the right home for the next chapter in their life. But I'm happy to report that Elizabeth, John, and their boys opened their presents on Christmas morning in their new home after closing just a few days before. Whether you're buying your first home or your next home, go with the pros who have all the tools and know-how to make your home buying experience as smooth and successful as humanly possible. Get started with your rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval by clicking on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
This is Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike on ESPN Radio. I'm reaching out with a message that's close to my heart. Devastating fires have ravaged the Los Angeles area, leaving families displaced, homes destroyed, and the community in need of help. Right now, you have the power to make a real difference. Your donation, big or small, can provide food, shelter, supplies, and much-needed support for those affected by the fires. If you are able to, please help those affected by the California wildfires and donate at www.lafoodbank.org/fire.
Welcome back to the Upswing. I'm Jeff Sherman. Yesterday, President Donald Trump said we will tariff and tax foreign countries to enrich our citizens. The OEC Group is a global non-vessel operating common carrier that provides ocean and air freight, customs brokerage, cargo insurance, and technical services. It expanded its operations into Milwaukee in 2022, and James Vanderloo from OEC Group joins us on the phone this morning. So, James, in your experience, how have previous tariffs impacted regional manufacturing and supply chain operations here in Wisconsin?
So initially, there's an uptick of, like if you need to get whatever is being under that proposed tariff, they'll typically give you a list. They'll give you a little bit of time to do that. And then you obviously have a rush in ordering those shipments. Once that's done, that's kind of where it sort of is ended in the previous term. So we had an initial burst to the manufacturing, and I think that's what's really important about this plan is like the tariff is one thing. Mm-hmm. We need to also have a plan of like how are we going to bring back this manufacturing, and what's sort of the way to either through tax cuts to manufacturers here in the U.S. Those are all things that we didn't really learn from the first time. I will say businesses have learned a lot. They've sort of strengthened a lot of their supply chains since the initial round of tariffs, so I think they're a little bit more prepared. Mm-hmm. But again, just the uncertainty of what's going to happen, what exactly is going to be proposed, it's changed so much even after the last couple of months, whereas 70% China, 10% China, 20% Mexico, 25%. It's all of that uncertainty has made it really difficult for people to plan. We don't really have the opportunity to plan ahead because we don't know exactly what's going to happen. We can just sort of plan sort of in an all-encompassing, okay, well, these are all of our contingency plans, but we don't really have a firm, guidance in place.
Yeah, and we've had such a explosion of increased business and tourism, actually, at the Port of Milwaukee. You think, is it too early to tell what the impacts on a really hyper-local level at the port may be?
It is a little bit, although I would always encourage that we further utilize our inland waterways. I think it's a great resource that we have that's often underutilized. The main reason for that is that a lot of that traffic is going through the St. Lawrence Seaway, which is through Canada, and a lot of those goods, which is like iron ore, seeds that we're, grain that we're feeding sort of to Europe and other countries. A lot of that stuff is very, the time is not very sensitive on any of those materials. So it's going to be very high bulk commodities, things that don't really have a high value, but it's you're shipping a lot of it, or you're shipping large pieces of, various machine components, refineries, different things like that. It is a little early to tell exactly because, just like I said, we don't know exactly what if things are being tariffed across the board or if it's going to be specific commodities. So that doesn't really tell us, but I do think that it opens up opportunities for us to re-examine our inland waterways and see if we could, bring more impact into the area. I've checked out some of the modifications they've done to the Port of Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. It's really great what they've done, and I would encourage everyone to check that out as well. It's pretty impressive.
And then let's look at kind of both sides of the coin. And you mentioned it earlier, but what possible retaliatory measures from our key trading partners, we have Canada, Mexico, and China, what impact could those have on prices locally?
Mainly, yes, it will certainly be some of machinery and certain kinds of components, but mainly it's the farmers that typically are the ones that suffer because of any kind of retaliatory trades. We at the United States feed a lot of our people. For instance, China imports a lot of soybeans from Wisconsin. Similarly, ginseng. Yeah. Our ginseng in Wisconsin is seen as one of the best in the world, and obviously in Chinese medicine that's a bit more it's a bit more utilized, but it's seen as a high value commodity. What happened with the previous tariffs is that China ended up sourcing a lot of their soybeans from Brazil. Now we've seen sort of geopolitical things going on between Brazil and China. So it really just opens up the door for places to look at other sources of material. Just the same advice that I would give people looking, at other sources. That will certainly be advice that other countries will be receiving who are receiving our goods and types of any type of retaliatory tariff. So we'll see if they subsidize it again, if they subsidize the farm industry and some of our agricultural goods, but those tend to be the things that suffer the most with any type of retaliatory tariffs against the United States.
Yeah, keeping an eye on prices in that agriculture sector for sure, particularly, as you said, dairy, corn, soybeans, cranberries, and even ginseng. I mean, they're all going to face additional challenges if we have retaliatory tariffs imposed, for sure. All right, James, I appreciate your time this morning. Have a great rest of the week, and let's stay in touch as new orders unfold in the new administration.
Absolutely, Jeff. Thanks. Have a great day.
All right. James Vanderloo from the OEC Group. The OEC Group here in Milwaukee, a global non-vessel operating common carrier that provides ocean and air freight services. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 10:30. ABC News, and then local headlines are coming up next. And then Mordecai Lee, Professor Emeritus from UWM, joins us in studio.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Sound inside the National Cathedral in Washington ahead of the National Prayer Service. President Trump is in attendance. It's his first full day in office. He capped his inauguration day by fulfilling a campaign promise and pardoned all people convicted in connection with the January 6th riot. He delighted those inside of a D.C. detention center who spoke with supporters by phone.
Thank you, President Trump. We're coming home.
President's first cabinet member has been confirmed. Secretary of State Marco Rubio sworn in this morning. Areas of the Texas Gulf Coast have already seen their most snowfall in more than a century. Over 7 inches have fallen in Lafayette, Louisiana. It's part of a wider swath of winter weather that's left millions in dangerous cold. It's dangerous fire conditions continuing in Southern California. Another day of strong winds. But Mayor Karen Bass says hundreds of people have been allowed back to their homes damaged and destroyed by the fires 2 weeks ago. This is ABC.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:31. Frigid, bone-chilling temps today, but it will get better. Car owners in Wisconsin could purchase a new black specialty plate under a measure being proposed in Madison. The Wisconsin State Journal says in Minnesota, the black plate generated nearly $8 million last year for the state. These plates in Wisconsin would be different than the black Road America plates that are currently already offered. New life coming to Whitefish Bay's Fox Bay Cinema. The Milwaukee Business Journal reporting that a $7.5 million project called the Argo is planned for that space, which has been vacant since the COVID-19 pandemic. News about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Right now, the Dow is up 439 to 43,927. The NASDAQ up 37 to 19,664. And the S&P is up 34 to 60.31. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving, time saver traffic. So far, so good on the roadways. Do we still have a handful of reported vehicles on the side of the road? Disabled vehicles, if you will. Otherwise, all the lanes are open. 94 eastbound, Highway 16 all the way in. That's on time. 4145 southbound, Highway Q to the Zoo is also looking good at the moment. No issues there as well. And 43 southbound, Brown Deer Road into downtown. Smooth sailing all the way into the city. Now your forecast. WTMJ Fleet Farm Storm Team alert. An extreme cold warning in effect through noon today. We're looking at wind chills that could still dip down to 35 below. So sunny and very cold today, a high of 3 with those wind chills again dipping down to 30 to potentially 35 below. Tonight, increasing clouds, slow warming. So a low of 0, but warming up to a low of 6 degrees with wind chills still below 0. Wednesday, scattered snow up to an inch maybe, breezy, warmer, a high of 24. Thursday, sunny, a high of 21. Friday, 23. Saturday, 35 degrees will be your high. Right now, still sub-zero temps. I'm Eric Bilstead, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:33.
Restaurant prices are soaring, but not at the Mine Shaft restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. One of my favorite places, family-owned for almost 50 years. I took my daughters there. Great memories. It's super affordable, and it's so much fun. Every Tuesday, the authentic Mexican buffet is all you can eat, and it's just $9.99. It's the best Tuesday dining value, $9.99. Kids 5 and under eat free today from that kids menu. They can safely play in the world-class game room, quietly tucked away from the dining area while you finish up your meal. Stop today after school. Check this out. The Wednesday all-you-can-eat fish fry is just $7.99. Whoa! That's crazy. From 2 till 5 today, beers, cocktails, and appetizers are half price. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and just off Highway 41 in Oshkosh, right near EAA. Walk in today for the Tuesday all-you-can-eat Mexican buffet for under $10. MineShaftRestaurant.com. It's the amazing Mine Shaft.
In a recent study, over 1/3 of millionaires predicted their ability to feel financially secure in retirement is going to take a miracle. At Annex Wealth Management, we believe a plan, not a miracle, will help increase your retirement confidence. Our team of experts gets to work using leading-edge technology to build comprehensive plans covering investment, retirement, tax, and estate planning. And Annex doesn't have products to push with hidden fees or commissions. There's too much of that already. Annex is a fee-only fiduciary. More planning, fewer miracles. Know the difference. AnnexWealth.com.
I'm Dr. Jasmine Zapata, Chief Medical Officer for Community Health at the Wisconsin Department of Health Services. Every year in the U.S., about 21,000 lung cancer deaths are caused by radon, an odorless, tasteless, and colorless gas. 1 in 10 Wisconsin homes has high levels of radon. Does yours? Call 1-888-LOW-RADON or visit lowradon.org to learn more. Test, fix, save a life.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Welcome back to the Upswing. I'm Jeff Sherman, joined in studio by Mordecai Lee. Mordecai is the professor emeritus at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. I appreciate your time and walking over this morning. You didn't have to walk outside to get here.
That's right.
That's nice.
UWM has a small campus in the Plankinton building, so I didn't have to go outside to get here.
Yes, that's convenient. I like it. So, Professor, I wanted to have you in to, specifically at first, kind of look back to recent U.S. presidents. Who had the most effective and impactful first 100 days? I mean, these first 100 days, we all like to talk about it. And I want to get your thoughts on, who really had the impact in the beginning of their terms.
I think there's no doubt that Franklin Roosevelt would be the guy that we would start the list with. And in fact, the whole idea of first 100 days came out of his first 100 days. When he got the banks to reopen and he got some emergency legislation through Congress. And then he did I think it was the second fireside chat, where it was just about 100 days and he was reporting to the American people, here's what we've done and here's why I think it'll be for the betterment of the economy. And the newspapers realized it was 100 days and whoosh, there went the term. It hasn't died since.
I mean, those fireside chats really kind of... Those were perfect PR vehicles to do one-on-one conversations and help manage the message.
We talk about the revolution of the internet and the web world, but radio was the internet in those days because radio was a new technology in the 1930s. Up to then, presidents could only communicate with the public through newspapers, through a mediated media. And that's totally different. And Roosevelt would talk as though he was in the living room with each citizen. And he had a very good radio voice. And that revolutionized what Americans expected of presidents, that they expected presidents would change their life for the better in very concrete and tangible terms.
Yeah. Well, and compare that to today, where you have the first 100 days really on a platform, obviously on our screens, on air, but on social media first and foremost.
Jeff, I think for this president, we'll probably talk about the first 100 hours.
Yes.
Because what he did yesterday is absolutely flabbergasting in terms of the accomplishment. And I hope we'll have a chance to talk in more detail, but he did it so quickly. He hasn't been president yet for 24 hours. We're about 15 minutes away from his 25th hour. And look at how much he accomplished yesterday and this morning. And so I think this will be remembered as an incredible sort of revolutionary moment of the American presidency.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. Just the importance of not only day one executive orders, but the importance of executive orders and how presidents use them to make sure that their policy is enacted right away.
I think executive orders have really evolved, and I'm not sure they evolved for the better. If you go back to Woodrow Wilson, you go back to Franklin Roosevelt, when they signed an executive order, it was very much like writing a law. It was very legalistic. Paragraph 22 of Act 25 is now interpreted as, in other words, these were very formal documents. They were codified like they were federal rules, and they were very legalistic. And over the years, I think, especially when we look at Trump, he's turned executive orders partly to that role, but changed it partly to be sort of memos to departments. I want you to study this. I want you to review that. I want you to send me a report on this. That, to a certain extent, isn't an executive order, but you can understand why the term appeals to him.
Yes.
Because the phrase executive order sounds very sort of dictatorial, not as a dictator, but in the sense of, I am ordering you to do this.
Right.
Even if it doesn't necessarily engage in interpreting the law.
Well, and you see the volume of them coming through, I think you can interpret it, whoa, these are 26 things yesterday that he changed immediately. It's not necessarily that way.
Right. Probably the most important thing is if we can remember back to high school civics or maybe Poli-Sci 101, that there are federal laws, and the only way to change a law is for Congress to pass it and a president to sign it, or for Congress to override a veto. And then the next level down are federal regulations. Regulations are issued by departments. They have the force of law, but they're not a law. Congress can repeal them. And in fact, yesterday, the president put a moratorium on any new rules and regulations. And then below rules and regulations are executive orders. So those are the ones that are easiest to change, but those are the ones that, in a sense, have the least legal impact in the long run.
All right, we are talking with Mordecai Lee, Professor Emeritus at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. When we come back, how might the effect of delivery of government services in Wisconsin change? I want Mordecai's analysis of the Department of Government Efficiency. Part of me thinks we're just in for an extended period of lawsuits with this, but we will see. You're listening to The Upswing. This is WTMJ.
Tell us a little bit about Innovative Signs.
We're located out in Waukesha. Where we are really focused mostly is manufacturing outdoor electrical signs.
You came to Horicon Bank. How do you think other local businesses can benefit?
When I call, Michelle picks up the phone, and when I email, she responds in a timely manner. A few years ago, I had talked to my accountant about shopping around looking for a different bank just to get some alternatives, and he said, absolutely not. You're not going to like working for a big bank. They have a lot more regulations. So that's how we got involved with Cornerstone Bank. When Horicon purchased Cornerstone, we came along for the ride, and it's been great.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix-It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, Outdoor Living Unlimited. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact NX Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at nxwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
When you're making a decision to hire an exterior remodeling company, character, integrity, and the feeling that the people you're about to hire are truly eager to show you how good they are should stand at the top of your list.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry. Semper Fi.
Time's ticking on Heiser's Drive Into 2025 sales event. The clock is literally running out on remaining 2024 models. We're making room for new rides, which means huge savings just for you. Shop online or race in today and get a new vehicle for way less than expected. With low payments, special financing, and immediate delivery, you'll start 2025 in style without breaking the bank. But hurry, because once they're gone, they're gone. Visit Heiser.com now for all of the details and get ready to roll into the new year with a celebratory deal.
See dealer for complete details.
Team up with the Brewers for an epic company event this season. Gather your crew of just 15 or more for a Brewers group outing and trade weekday meetings for a fun-filled day at American Family Field. Featuring options like tailgate spaces, all-inclusive areas, seating blocks, and more. Plus, Brewers ticket representatives will make planning your event easy, as they'll be your concierge while you book your event. Start planning your company outing today at brewers.com/groups.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Eric Bilstead. As we ring in 2025, are you heading into the new year with the same old joint pain? It's time to make a resolution to get moving again. No more achy joints for your knees, your hips, shoulders, or your back. You're going to call QC Kinetics in 2025, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine and joint preservation. Got locations in Greenfield and Mequon under the leadership of Medical Director Dr. Ashley Caravelli. Yes, you can revitalize your joints with advanced orthobiologic treatments at QC Kinetics. No steroids, no drugs, no surgery. This is the future of medicine using an array of natural solutions. So many of your neighbors here in Milwaukee are living life again without the constant pain in their joints. Here's what you do. Resolve to get lasting relief in 2025. Call QC Kinetics today, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. Call QC Kinetics today. Happy New Year.
Welcome back to the Upswing. I'm Jeff Sherman, joined in studio by Mordecai Lee, Professor Emeritus at UWM. So, Professor, as we look at the delivery of government services, not only across the country, but here in Wisconsin, what's your analysis of the Department of Government Efficiency?
I'm not sure if we're going to feel it very tangibly in Wisconsin immediately, but it's possible that over the next couple of years we will. To a certain extent, this Department of Governmental Efficiency is an interesting experiment. Mm-hmm. It's an effort to reorganize government and make it efficient, but it doesn't have the power to change any laws, and it doesn't have the power to what's called impound money. Mm. In other words, when Congress says to a certain department, I'm giving you $1 million to do X, nobody can stop that department from spending the money. Nixon tried. It was called impoundment. And it turned out to be illegal. Mm-hmm. So when presidents come in, Clinton had a kind of reinvent government effort, and before him, Reagan wanted to do reorganization. But Reagan realized that any reorganization that would have to pass Congress is very hard to do. Right now, there's a political moment, just like FDR, where one party controls the White House, the Senate, and the House, which means that if there are any changes in laws that a DOGE or anybody else in the White House recommend, there's a high likelihood it would pass because everybody's on the same team. And in that respect, we might see another parallel to the 100 days of Franklin Roosevelt, that they're really in a hurry to get things through while they control all three lawmaking institutions. But otherwise, efficiency is a good thing.
Right.
It's easy for government to increase spending.
Yeah.
I think it was Governor Lee Dreyfus of Wisconsin who said the problem with government is it doesn't have a reverse gear. Right. And I think watching what's going to happen with Elon Musk, is there a reverse gear?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, always on the upswing, if you will. But you never quite know where that spending is going. Do you think there's been some thought that the Department of Government Efficiency violates federal transparency rules? Is that a concern?
Well, as I understand it, the entity is now part of the White House. One of the documents that President Trump signed yesterday converted an Obama, what was called United States Digital Service. He renamed it the United States DOGE Service. Now, that has the effect of making it an official entity of government. And sooner or later, everything that they do or say as a recommendation to a president or that a president acts on it, I'm pretty sure that's going to be subject to the Freedom of Information Act.
Okay. All right. Well, when we come back, I want to get your thoughts on, obviously, Elon Musk spearheading this from the business side for President Trump. What's the appropriate relationship between CEOs and the President of the United States? You're listening to The Upswing. This is WTMJ.
Wisconsin's Morning News is here for you every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. Vince Petrano.
Now, following breaking news this morning, officials say Hamas has accepted a draft agreement for a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip.
Eric Billstad.
Those frigid temps leave everyone monitoring those water pipes.
And traffic with Debbie Lozica.
We're looking at kind of dicey ride this morning. I can say that from personal experience.
The news you need to know. Wisconsin's Morning News on WTMJ.
Join the roar of 18,000 Bucks fans at Fiserv Forum and be a part of the slam dunks, game-changing plays, and electrifying victories live. Witness the edge-of-your-seat action and unforgettable moments as they happen. You don't want to miss this. Grab your calendar, handpick your favorite matchups, and secure your seats for Dame time in Milwaukee and every incredible moment that comes next at bucks.com/tickets. That's bucks.com/tickets.
Special Milwaukee Auto Show Advance Discount Ticket Offer has been extended to January 22nd. Turns out a lot of people want to come to the auto show. Get your auto show tickets now at a big discount. Buy a single ticket, or how about a pair of tickets for date night? Or you can buy a family 4-pack and take everybody. They can see all the latest vehicles, including cars, trucks, SUVs, luxury cars, and much more. For advanced discount tickets, go to autoshowmilwaukee.com. That's autoshowmilwaukee.com.
Siding Unlimited, named the best window installers, not just here, but in the whole USA. Get the best. Siding Unlimited, 4-time winner as America's best window installer. For windows, you call Siding Unlimited first and directly. SidingUnlimited.com.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Ready to tackle your home improvement project this winter? Exterior Pros and Baths is here to help you score big with quality home exterior and shower upgrades. As a 5-time President's Club Award winner, Exterior Pros is not playing around. With flexible financing, it's never been easier to invest in your home without breaking the bank. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274. Trust the pros and kick off your home transformation today.
Tell us a little bit about innovative signs.
We're located out in Waukesha. Where we are really focused mostly is manufacturing outdoor electrical signs.
You came to Horicon Bank. How do you think other local businesses can benefit?
When I call, Michelle picks up the phone, and when I email, she responds in a timely manner. A few years ago, I talked to my accountant about shopping around looking for a different bank just to get some alternatives, and he said, absolutely not. You're not going to like working for a big bank. They have a lot more regulations. So that's how we got involved with Cornerstone Bank. When Horicon purchased Cornerstone, we came along for the ride, and it's been great.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Welcome back to the Upswing. I'm Jeff Sherman, joined in studio by Mordecai Lee, Professor Emeritus at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. So yesterday you saw several prominent CEOs seated front and center at the inauguration. Obviously kind of a new spotlight on specifically technology CEOs. What's the appropriate relationship there between leaders, CEOs, and the President of the United States?
Well, generally speaking, presidents, whether they're Republicans or Democrats, always confer with business leaders for major issues or to get feedback or to get advice. Democrats and Republicans benefit by meeting with lots of different groups. And I assume that the CEOs of tech companies and CEOs of other big businesses are going to have the president's ear. But presumably he'll meet with leaders of different sectors. Now, probably it's important to emphasize that business administration is different from public administration. In other words, when you're a CEO, you can accomplish things that a president, as the CEO of the federal government, cannot necessarily accomplish by, I don't know, signing an executive order or declaring something. It's much slower moving, much more lumbering because of issues, for example, freedom of information, transparency, openness. But nonetheless, I think so far so good.
Yeah, good. I mean, I think, that's exactly how it should be. Seeking counsel, kind of creating the expert lens around you so you get a good balance of opinions on all sides. As you look at the Wisconsin aspects of it all, obviously you've observed Wisconsin politics for decades. How do you anticipate that the state's political landscape could shift as the Trump presidency rolls on?
If we're trying to think about impacts on everyday lives as opposed to sort of abstract policy, if there are roundups of illegals on dairy farms, that's going to cause problems. Now, some people will support that, some people will oppose it, but it'll be a tangible impact on staffing of dairy farms. I wouldn't be surprised if we see cuts in Medicaid, and that'll have an effect on people. On Obamacare, that'll have an effect on people. But otherwise, it'll probably be more national in its impact, but it'll be very specific.
Yeah. Well, and just also, I mean, we don't have specific plans on Trump's broader infrastructure policies, but there's a lot of ongoing projects in the Milwaukee area. Any concern there for federal support for labor agreements or kind of projects that need to be finished?
Well, this is a very important distinction. And the question is that yesterday at noon, whatever the federal government under Biden had a contract, they had signed a legal piece of paper to give the city of Milwaukee X for 27th Street or whatever it might be. That's, a contract can't be violated based on the Constitution. But anything that was not out the door by noon yesterday, I suspect has already been frozen and will not be granted. And so that will immediately, we'll start seeing those impacts, as well as federal policies that a contract has to include, let's say, diversity. That can be repealed because based on an executive order. Just you roll back what Biden signed, and now Trump does it. So there will be some impacts like that.
Very good. Mordecai Lee, Professor Emeritus at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. I appreciate your time this morning. I want to have you come back maybe in a couple of weeks. We're going to dive into social services and environmental conservation as it relates to President Trump. You're listening to The Upswing. Coming up next, Wisconsin's Midday News.
Ridiculous fees, robocalls, customer service that's lacking the actual service. It sounds like you might be getting bullied by your bank. You don't have to settle. At Wintrust, we take a different approach. Whether you need